Hello my crafty lovelies, it's Pamela. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to show you what I've been working on the last week or so. I have been making these bead dangles to put on your purse, your rear view mirror, your key ring. They might be a little heavy for that, just a little decoration somewhere. It's kind of like a tassel, back of a journal. They are just so fun, and I've been using my beads and buttons, as you can see. And here's another one. I have about 15 I've made. Aren't they cute? So I don't know how I get myself into these things, but I am spearheading a Christmas boutique in my area, and so I'm making things to sell there. And I think I've mentioned this before, or I know I have. This year I'm trying to use what I have without having to buy too many things to supplement or other supplies other than things that are really critical, because I have so much of everything. So I started making these to put into the Christmas boutique that's going to be in October. And so, but if you're interested in buying one, let me know in the comment sections and I can hook up with you. But these are going to go in a Christmas boutique unless somebody wants one before then. But I thought I would show you how I make them. So they're pretty simple. They just take a little bit of time and a lot of knots. And so I'm going to show you what I have. I have my little baskets here that I've made that have my beads, and I've kind of broken them down into different categories so that they're easy to get to. So they're not all going to fit on camera because I'm going to try and show you up close how I do this. But I've got my buttons, my little seed beads, decorative beads, and then other bigger beads, and then a little thing of charms if I want to put charms on at the end. So I'm just going to show you how I do it. It's pretty simple. You just use, you can use anything. You can use a split ring, or you can use these little swivel clips. They're different styles, different kinds. And I have one ready to go here. And you can put as many or as few strands on as you want. I have 8 strands, well 4 strands, and then I do a half hitch knot on the swivel clip, as you can see. And I make them about a yard long, so each one, once I put it on here, is about 18 inches. You want enough to work with, so you don't want to have to, you know, be fumbling around and trying to work with a little tiny piece of string. You can use embroidery floss, you can use S-Lon or C-Lon, cording for beading. This happens to be a waxed linen. It's very lightly waxed, and it's a little bit smaller than the waxed linen I use to sew in signatures in my journals, but I have a lot of it, so I decided to use it. So let me show you what I do, and I'm just going to do a little bit because obviously it's just very repetitive and you've seen the outcome. But what I do is I start with putting a knot at the top of each one of these strands, and what I do is I feed this end through the loop like 3 or 4 times so that it makes a nice big solid knot. So that's 3, here's 4. And then you can pull on this piece right here. You can hold on to this, and you can direct the knot where you want it to go, if that makes sense. And you kind of pull on this, and sorry, I know it's hard to see. Let me see if I can, there. See my finger? I'm just putting some tension on that, and I'm pulling on this thread and pushing on this knot. And when you get it kind of to where you want, then you can just push it up. And see, it makes a nice sized knot. And I do that on all of them, except for one somewhere kind of in the middle, and I'll explain that in a second. But let me do one more. So you can see that process again. Just make a loop like you're going to tie your shoe, and I feed the end through once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. Then I hold on to this and pull. You can see that knot just kind of slides right into position. And then you just help it along. Okay? So I will do that on all of them except for, I usually do the 4th one in. I don't put a knot because what I do is I start with a button. So let me just do a knot in this 3rd one. The 4th one, I put a bead on it, and I just decide what the color theme of the whole thing is going to be, and I'll select a bead for that. So let's just, I kind of like this pink one, but I like this little flower one. Let's use that, and I will thread it from the back to the front, and then front to back, and I just push it up. This is why you don't really need a knot, because you're going to push it up to the top, and a knot would just be repetitive right here because you're going to tie a knot already to keep it in place. So I just push it up to about where I want it and turn it over. Now I'm going to feed this string through again so we get that X on the front side so that it looks like it's been stitched on, if that makes sense. Hang on. See? You can see the little X. So then I just turn it over on the back side. I'm just going to tie a knot to secure it in place. I'm just going to do it twice. There's once, and there's twice. And then you just start stringing beads onto your piece. But this kind of sets the tone for it. I don't know, that's just how I do it. You can do it however you want, but it helps me remember, okay, I'm kind of going with a little more pink if that's what I want, or just kind of a mix of colors. So then I start putting on my beads, and let's just put on a few little seed beads. Now you want the seed beads because the holes are smaller and they won't slide over that knot. So it's going to stay secure in place. So let's put on a few seed beads. Let's get a couple colorful ones going. And I can't tell you, this thing was full up to here, and that's how many of these I've made and how many I've used. Okay, so there's 3 on there. Let's put a little bit bigger of a bead. So let's grab one from here. Let's see. This is not much bigger, but it's a little bigger. So let's put this one on. Now I'm going to tie one of those knots. But because this hole here is pretty small, I'm only going to do it 3 times. I'm going to wrap it 3 times. I start with 4 just so that it's a nice big secure knot, but the rest of the time I just do 3. Okay, and I let this hang so the weight holds the beads down, and then I hold onto that loop and pull from this side, and see how the knot just slid right down there, and then you can just kind of feed it with your fingers and secure the knot. How easy was that? So you just repeat that process. Now what I do is I do some on one strand and then I move to the next strand because I want to alternate the size and the look of the beads. So I don't want everything to look the same, if that makes sense. So I don't want that same configuration, but I always do, almost always put at least one small seed bead on to begin with, so that the next bead, if it happens to have a larger hole, it won't slide through. So here's one that's got a bigger hole, and it probably wouldn't go through that, but if I were to use one of these decorative beads like this owl, it will definitely go through that. So that's why I put a seed bead on first and after when I'm using a large hole bead. So there's that. And let's put on a little orange one. Oops. We're just going to repeat that process and make another knot. So 1, 2, 3. Hold on to that piece and pull, and then just secure the knot. And there we have 2. So now the next one, I am going to put a different color. I'm going to use this little turquoise one, and let's use this bead. See that again, that bead has a larger hole, so we want to have that seed bead on the top, and then we'll want to put one on the bottom because the knot won't be large enough. You could make a bigger knot. I just don't like huge bulky knots, but we will just do this. Here. Now we've got the first 3 done, first 3 strands. And now I'm to the button, and I can put something on that one. And I just keep going with that same process, putting one set of beads all the way across, and then I'll start again at the beginning. Now, I have small beads here, so on this strand, so next I'll want to alternate that and maybe put a larger bead next so that it doesn't all look the same. I'm going to put another knot in. I'm just going to pull it to about where I want it. And now I'm going to start my next set of beads. And because these are smaller, I want to alternate the size and texture of the next set of beads. So I want something maybe a little bit bigger, like this one. And this one has 3. So this has 4, this has 3. I don't want every one to have 3 to look exactly the same, but that's up to you. I want to have a little bit of interest so that each strand and each set of beads that I put on looks a little bit different. It gives it more interest. So now I used a larger bead here, medium size kind of, so I need to put a knot. Okay, and you can vary the distance between the beads, between each set. That's just personal preference. That's up to you, whatever you want. Let's find something that looks a little different. So here's a little disc bead. Because the thread is waxed, I don't need a needle, but if you're going to use another type of thread, you'll want to use a beading needle to get through everything. So here I just have 2 beads. I'm going to alternate. So this one had, the first set had 3, now I'm going to have 2. I might just have 1. You want to change it up a little bit, and that's why I do all the way across and then go back to the beginning, because I want it to be different all the way across. It's a lot of knot tying, but it's a pretty simple knot to do, and the more you do it, the faster it goes. And they're really quick. Okay, so now on here, let's just take a few small beads. So now I have 5 on this, so 3, 5, 1, if you kind of get my drift on that. I'm just trying to alternate this, how many I put on each one. You just have to watch your thread, make sure it doesn't get caught on the bead above the knot. Okay, so there we go, there's 3. Now normally, like I said, I would be working all the way across 1 set of beads and then come back and 1 set of beads, but just for the video I'm just showing you this. So now I'm here. I think I need another button, one of these. Okay, so now I want to put a bead on the back side, just so that the back side looks just as pretty as the front. So you can layer up your buttons. And this is just a 2-hole button. There's the front. There's the back. And I'm just going to tie a knot. You don't need a knot before a button, because you're tying the button on at the back. If that makes sense. I know I keep saying if that makes sense, but I hope it's all making sense. So there's the knot there. Now we have a button. So I will go and do probably a big bead here, or a medium size something, and then a bigger bead here. And as I work across, I'll add more buttons. And there are 8 strands. I usually do about 6 buttons on each one. It just depends on how they are looking and how they hang. And these do not need to be level across. So you see, it kind of is level across, but my next bead will start up close, and so they won't be like even all the way across. And then when they hang, they're going to hang differently. So anyway, that's what I have been doing, and it has been so fun, and I can just sit and watch a movie or gab with family while I'm working on stuff. So let me know what you think. I think they're super fun. And I make mine, let's see, how many inches are they? I think they're about 5 inches. You can make them shorter or longer. Just be aware that if you use glass beads and ceramic beads, which I have here, they're going to be a little bit heavier. But if you do acrylic or plastic, it's going to be much lighter. But I just like how these look. They're so fun, and I put, you know, an owl on every one, and like a heart. Here's a bunny and a butterfly. They're just so cute. There's another double button. So let me know what you think. You can hang little charms at the end. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to tell you. At the end, you want to make sure you put something that's heavier. So like if you end with this button, it might not hang straight. So you want something a little heavier at the end of each strand, just so it hangs straight. I've got some lampwork beads in here. They're just real stone. They're just fun. Anyway, let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. comment section. Let me know what you think. If you want to try these, or if you want to buy one, let me know. Okay, friends, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.